So when I started freelancing, every project felt custom built from scratch. Like each client wanted something unique and every proposal felt exhausting and scaling was literally almost impossible. Then I learned about productizing your services and it changed literally everything. Today, I'll show you exactly what productizing means, the good, the bad, and how it can finally make freelancing feel like a business that is also actually scalable. Now, first, let's get clear on something upfront. Productizing your services means going from custom proposals and endless negotiations to clear, packaged solutions. And right now, you might be stuck in conversations like, tell me exactly what you want and I'll see what I can do for you, which leaves the client confused and you feeling unsure about what you're doing. But when you productize, you're changing that conversation completely. You are literally saying, here's exactly what I do, how I can do it, and what it will cost you. Take it or leave it. And this isn't just changing about how you pitch, it's literally changing how you position yourself too. You stop being seen as a freelancer who can be pushed around on things like price or scope, and you start being seen as an expert who knows exactly what they're worth. So you're much more confident. And productizing transforms your freelancing work into a clear, predictable process. Clients respect clarity and they'll trust your expertise more when you are confident enough to set the terms upfront in your initial call. So, what is productizing? When you first jump into freelancing, the temptation is very high to always say yes to everything. Trust me, I've been there. Now, every new client brings a completely new problem as well, and every project will feel like you're starting from scratch. And in the beginning, it feels like progress. I know you're learning, you're growing, you're getting your hands on dirty with all these different challenges that you have. But here's the catch. The moment you try to scale this approach and make more money, everything breaks because you can't scale when you are reinventing your services every single time for every new client. Custom work is great for building initial skills, but it crushes your growth because each new client demands more of your personal time and your mental energy, of course. You end up with a scattered portfolio and very unpredictable outcomes as well. And it might look flexible, but it actually feels exhausting. Productizing is literally the opposite of this chaos. Think about services like something a client can pick off a shelf. Clearly defined, easy to understand, and ready to start and ready to go. Instead of endless back and forth emails trying to nail down exactly what you'll do and how much you will do it, you are handing them a neatly packaged solution with a set price and clearly defined deliverables. So, for example, if you are a media buyer and saying, I can help you run ads, well, that's vague and unconvincing. But saying I offer a complete meta ads package that includes campaign setup, testing, weekly optimization, monthly reporting, or 2,000 euros or dollars, it changes everything in your call. So clients immediately know what they're getting, how the process worked, and what results to expect. And this creates trust before you even sign the deal. And it makes your backend system also way easier to scale, which I'll talk about in a second. But first, let's talk about the benefits, because this is where productizing really starts to feel like a cheat code. First, it removes 90% of the confusion that causes the client headaches. One of the biggest sources of friction in freelancing work is misalignment. Clients thinking they're getting one thing and you are delivering another. But when you offer Productized, there is no space for miscommunication. Clients know exactly what they're getting, how long it will take, what the outcome looks like, and there are no fake promises, no things like we'll figure it out as we go. Just a clear agreement that keeps both sides on the same page. Second, productizing is your gateway to scale, like I said, because once you have done something the same way 10 times or more, you start seeing patterns. You start building templates, you start creating SOPs, you hand off pieces to your VA or an assistant, and eventually you'll realize, wait, I don't have to be the one doing everything anymore. That's when things move fast, because you can onboard a new client without having to replan your whole week, and you can go on a vacation without worrying that everything starts falling apart. Thirdly, and this is my favorite, it makes you more money, not just because you're charging more, but because you are delivering faster with less stress and a higher quality. Every part of the delivery becomes sharper because you have realigned through repetition. And I saw this firsthand when I productized my agency's ad services. Before, we were like scrambling every time a new client came in. Every campaign setup was slightly different. Every dashboard had to be customized. But once we locked in a standardized meta package, everything started working differently. The team could execute without guessing, results got better, and revenue actually jumped. And that wasn't a coincidence. It was all thanks to having more structure. But I'm not saying productizing is perfect. I have to be honest here too. The biggest downside is that you will lose flexibility, and not every client will fit into your specific offer. And when you productize, you have to start saying also no more often, and that's kind of tough, especially when you're just starting to build something. And every inquiry will feel like a potential income, and you will be tempted to kind of bend the offer just a little bit, add an extra service, tweak the scope. But every time you do that, you're chipping away at the very system that is supposed to give you freedom. And here's the truth: saying no isn't really necessarily closing a door. It's like making space for the right clients, ones who do understand your value, do respect your process, and are actually profitable to work with. Because the wrong clients always cost you more than they pay. They drag things out, they request random extras, and usually they end up unhappy no matter what you deliver. And yeah, the other thing, you might feel like it gets a little bit repetitive. Delivering the same package over and over again isn't as creatively exciting as building something new every time. Because the mind shift that helped me: boredom isn't a bad thing. Boredom actually often means you have created something stable, something that works and is scalable. And when your systems are boring, your bank account usually isn't. That's the trade-off you're making. You stop working in chaos and start building leverage with your systems. Okay, now to make this more practical for yourself, start by identifying the one service you are already doing well, the one where you're constantly getting good results, enjoy the work, and ideally people are already asking you for it. Maybe it's meta ads, maybe it's landing pages, email automations, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you have delivered it before and you know what great looks like with your eyes closed. Now take that service and strip away all the noise. What are the essential steps that actually drive that outcome? Break it down into a timeline. What does week 1 look like? When do you deliver what? What are the client's touch points? What needs to be templated? Where can you cut time without cutting quality necessarily? And this becomes the foundation of your productized offer. Then comes the packaging. Set a clear price, not hourly, not starting from this price, just a simple number based on the outcome you are trying to deliver. It makes it easier for the client to understand the offer, without needing a phone call or different emails or proposal. That clarity really builds trust fast. And once the offer is clear, you start building the machine around it. Create a repeatable onboarding process, intake forms, email templates, welcome videos, whatever the work is. Set up a delivery system using SOPs, build templates for like reporting, feedback requests, handovers. Anything you do more than twice a week should literally become a system, because that's the real benefit of productizing. You stop solving the same problems over and over again. You build it once, then refine it, and with every new client, your delivery should get smoother, your results get stronger, and your time becomes more protected, I would say. Now, let me tell you how this played out in my own agency, because when I first started Clever Converters, I was doing everything myself, of course. Writing the ad copy, building campaigns, optimizing, reporting, client calls, literally all of it. Every client project was different. One wanted Google ads, another wanted meta ads, someone else wanted a landing page or email flows. I kept saying yes because I wanted the cash. But it was complete chaos. I couldn't scale, and every new client felt like starting a new business from scratch. Eventually, I knew I had to fix it, right? So I looked at the one thing that we constantly crushed: our ad management, or my ad management. That became our first productized offer. Meta and Google ads campaigns, clearly packaged with campaign setup, daily optimizations, weekly reporting, and monthly strategy call. One price, one process, and everything changed after that, because sales also went faster, onboarding way smoother, and my team had a system that they could follow. And I wasn't, drowning in random requests anymore. But here's when it gets even better. Productizing doesn't mean I had to stay stuck doing the only thing. Because once the core service was locked in, I hired an email expert and built out a second productized offer around Klaviyo email marketing. Same idea, fixed scope, fixed price, clear deliverables, and that way we could offer more services without going back to the chaos before. And every new offer came with its own playbook, and that's how we literally scaled. One clean service at a time, all running in parallel without blowing up the backend. And that's the real power of productizing. It gave me control, clarity, and the ability to grow without also burning out. So productizing doesn't just make freelancing smoother, it's how you lay the groundwork for building something bigger than yourself. If your goal is to eventually step back from doing everything alone, then productizing your services is literally where it begins. Because let's be honest, most freelancers, they stay stuck because their business is entirely dependent on them, right? Like every project needs their brain, their hands, their energy. But when you productize, you're not just making things clearer for the clients, you're making it possible to delegate to someone else. You're turning your services into a machine that someone else can step into and just basically run for you. Now, this is what separates freelancers from agency owners, because when your offer is clean, your systems are documented, and the outcome is predictable, you can finally hire without micromanaging. Whether it's a, junior media buyer, a VA, or a specialist, your job literally just becomes teaching them the playbook that you created, not holding their hand through every step. And that's when, when real scale happens, you're not longer limited by your personal bandwidth. You can onboard 2, 3, even 10 clients a month without feeling like you're about to snap, because now it's your systems that do the heavy lifting for you and the people behind it. It's not about being hands-off overnight, of course. It's about building a structure where being hands-off eventually becomes an option. Now, let me help you avoid some mistakes I've seen over and over again when people try to productize their services. The first one is they try to package everything all at once. You've got 5 different skills, so you try to turn all 5 into an offer at the same time, right? That never works. Focus on the one service you're already getting results with, lock it in, refine the process, and prove it works. Then you can think about expanding another skill, right? The second mistake, undervaluing your offer just because it's productized, right? Like people hear the word package and immediately assume it has to be cheap or something. It doesn't. Productizing doesn't mean low end, it means clear, and clarity actually allows you to charge more because clients now know exactly what they're paying for and what the outcome is that they're getting. And finally, don't fall into the trap of thinking productizing also means you never have to change anything. You're not locking yourself into a fixed offer forever, of course. You are creating a strong foundation, but strong foundation can still evolve. Pay attention to what your clients are asking for, track the results and keep adjusting to make your service sharper over time. And that's how you stay ahead each day. Now, to sum up a few things here, productizing isn't a shortcut, right? It's just a smarter way of doing business. It's how you build something scalable and also sustainable. And look, if you are, ready to stop guessing, to stop feeling overwhelmed and start productizing your skills into actual real repeatable income, then DMN Academy can help you. I've built it to give you a clear system, proven strategies, and a community of freelancers turning their services into businesses with productized offers. And if you are serious about making freelancing finally feel like freedom, then check the link in the description to join my free community or book a one-on-one call with me. And if you think I deserve that, of course, then hit the like button and subscribe button. And if you think I missed anything, feel also free to share it, comments below.